Since I can't really see too much on Twitch right now, like I don't have the Twitch stats.
Yeah, I can see it. I can see it.
Okay, so you can
We're
tell
doing
me.
good. We're doing good. I see some icons. I see some stuff.
Okay, I just like I can see if we're dropping frames and stuff, so it should be enough. And I have the chat as well here, so it should be fine. Oh, right. I should change the title. Edit chat. No,
Those
there.
letters, man. Purple.
Uh,
Ugh.
Update information. Okay, the title should be new.
There we go.
The Eurocast.
Russia, Ukraine, NATO, and the European army people. It's
Yeah,
time,
yeah, and
right?
I wrote the title wrong, so
We're off to a great start, guys.
yeah, that's how every good podcast starts. So
Yeah, that's right. You know, with two people who don't know what they're doing.
so
Nice to be able to see your screen, though. To be honest.
yeah. So first of all, just giving you guys a bit of an explanation of what's going on here. We are doing the FG Eurocast. It's going to be once a week around this time for 2 hours-ish, more or less.
Yep.
We
Or
are,
more. Who knows?
yeah, it depends on the topic. We can
Also.
go longer, we'll see.
Yeah.
And we are live on Twitch as well. The podcast will be recorded there, so it will be saved. Later on, maybe we'll put it on YouTube or Spotify or something. We'll see how it works. But as of now, you can
You
see
guys are the
if
test team.
yeah.
Yeah.
This is the alpha version of this podcast.
Yeah.
As you can see from the great graphics we have right now, there's literally just the title up there, which isn't great. But yeah,
It's your Italian aesthetics on working at it. You know. It's,
yeah. I can maybe I
oh
could
man.
make it. Wait.
No, we need one of those. We need one of those good backgrounds. You know what I mean?
No,
I think we have to
that's
get
too.
Twisters involved.
I'm sorry. It says it's gonna stay this way.
Oh my god.
No, no.
It doesn't fit.
No, let's keep it simple for today. So we have our title topic here is today is Russia, Ukraine, everything that is going happening there, what NATO and the European army will do and might do if we had
Exactly.
one.
If we had one.
So that's our headline topic. Then we're going to talk about COVID updates, what's going on in Turkey, so everything going on there with Greece and journalists getting jailed, Mario Draghi making them upset, and then Erdogan getting upset. It's great. Then this will be a brief topic. Salvini had his trial postponed, so we'll let you know about our hero Salvini and what he's doing. Then,
Our hero, yes.
yeah, of course. Then we have the German election for the Chancellor, and no one is going to be better than Mutti, but someone has to take her place.
Exactly. You know, she's getting too old now. She's like, I've had it with this shit.
Yeah, she wants to do better stuff. She wants to become dictator or something, I think. So that's her next step. I hear that Ursula von der Leyen is a bit preoccupied, it's a bit worried, because
Yeah.
Merkel might take her place later, but we'll see. Then we have riots against France in Pakistan because Macron said Islam bad and they didn't like it. And these are our topics for today. And as I said earlier, we have a Twitch channel, so you can be there. We already have someone on our chat on Twitch. You can
Oh shit.
you have two ways to interact with us. You can either join in the Discord chat here, and you can ask to um, be in the voice
Speak.
chat. Yeah, you can
Yeah.
speak, and you can join that way, or you can write in the Twitch chat, and we'll try to
We'll try to keep an eye on that
keep an eye
anyway.
there. Yes.
Exactly. Mostly we'll just be talking, and every now and then we could just lift one of you out to have a talk if you have a comment, or you could also request to speak through the new staging interface on Discord, which is quite handy. You can raise your hand, and then we'll see your request appear. Yeah. So anyway, the first subject. Do you want to choose it, or shall I?
Let's start with Russia.
Yeah, let's start with Russia. Oh, isn't it lovely? Twitter is exploding, and so is Ukraine. So
Yeah.
let's work on that. I saw in the as you know, I keep an eye on the news a lot. It's kind of my thing. And what I've seen this week is so much news about Crimea, about Russian troop movements, about the amounts of troops at the borders, Ukraine wanting to be part of NATO. There's so much going on over there, and I thought this would be the subject for the evening. I think,
Yeah.
and of course tying into that, NATO, because NATO, is it's on our turf almost, and of course, and tying into that, the European Army. I mean, do we need one? And because we do need one, but how are we going to go about making one then in the face of so much uncertainty?
And I guess
Yeah.
good. To be honest, I don't know. I was thinking about it. It's not just. I think most of the people here probably agree that we need it, but let's take it a step further. Would if we had one, would have the situation changed? Would have Russia not done anything on Ukraine? Like, would have that been
You
something?
mean if we had a European army ready to stand, basically?
Yes. Even like, let's say we had it. I think,
Yeah.
to be honest, it wouldn't be as much about the army but it would be about having the like one foreign policy for the whole union. I think that would be more powerful than anything else, because let's be honest, even if we had an army, it's not like we would be we would use it that easily, right? I think if we got the army, we would try to use it only in defensive wars, like to defend ourselves, and probably like peacekeeping missions and stuff like that. We wouldn't be that much going abroad.
That's the question.
I think.
I mean, at the moment we rely a lot on NATO, and I think that's the big thing. The difference between what NATO does and what the European Union does. I mean, if NATO were to disappear tomorrow, then we would definitely need a European army, and it would have to be proactive rather than reactive.
Yes, I agree, but
boots on the ground in Ukraine wouldn't be out of the question in that case.
But I think what would, if like, I think the more likely scenario, if we are going to get one, is that the EU gets one European army, and in NATO you have the US, the EU, and the rest.
Yeah.
We would still have NATO, but instead of being the US and its minions, it would be a duopoly of EU and US. It would be a partnership between equals instead of what we have right now. At least that's what you would hope for.
A partnership of equals between EU and the US, but not between the other members that don't want in.
Well, I mean, obviously, we are not going to.
The problem there, is that the EU has Finland in it, whereas the NATO does not yet. Same thing with
Austria as well, I think.
Norway is the other way around. As far as I know.
Yeah, that's when I said like, I think even if we manage to get a European army, and to be
Probably
honest,
not the
it
best thing.
depends. Is it like are we having a federal core and that federal core has the army? So maybe it's just Italy, France, and in Germany, for example.
Yeah.
And so
Well,
it's
if
a
it's
bit different then, right? If it's the whole union having an army, it would be different because you would have to deal with Ireland, Austria that have, let's say they're
yeah,
neutral, but they would obviously have to change their stance because they can't be neutral at that point.
yeah,
But
exactly.
even if they change the constitution or whatever it needed, they would still have defensive approach to stuff, right? They wouldn't want to go. There wouldn't be France that wants to go everywhere. So there would be, I think we would have some countries that want to go a bit further, like France. We would have some that don't want to do anything at all, and some that want to be in between.
Yeah.
So if we had the EU army right now in this situation, I don't think that we would send the army there. We would,
Troops to Ukraine.
yeah. I
Yeah.
think what we might have is like sanctions for sure, like and a more aggressive tone against Russia, because
Yeah.
you would have the EU as one.
I
I
don't know.
think
I mean, it
that's,
kind of
and we
depends.
would have.
Yeah. I mean, without a coherent foreign policy, that is what's missing in the EU. And if
Yeah.
the EU had that, someone would have to be foreign minister, um, which would supersede the let's say 3-4 states that would be in the core of that EU union. Now, depending on if that's a Frenchman, a German, or an Italian, you will get vastly different styles of
I don't agree.
styles of leadership.
I don't agree.
You don't think so?
No, I don't think that it would be based on the nationality of the person. It would be based on the party in power.
I see. Yeah.
I don't think that it would be as much
Yves
about
Royer.
the. I mean, I hope that, and yeah, I'm pretty sure that it would be that way. If we get a federal core, we would stop giving out positions that just to make every country happy, and it would be just as you do in a country. You don't give, for example, Italy is not going. It's not like makes government and gives this minister to this region, this one to that region, so everyone is happy. It just has the ruling party and the coalition, whatever it is, and they have their stance, and that's what the government is going to do. It's going to do. It's not because it's not going to be about the nationality. Obviously, it's always going to play some part in it, but it's not as much about the personality, the nationality, but I think it's going to be about the party.
Yeah, I mean that's looking forwards, and that would be really nice. But until a big crisis happens, I don't see Italy, Germany, and France pushing towards that end anyway.
Well, we are talking about a future
Yeah.
where we already have a federal
But
core.
at the moment, the thing is that Ukraine is happening at the moment, and NATO. I mean, it's really funny because this week we've seen Ukraine try to appeal to NATO to get in, right? And the chances of that happening are very, very slight because the differences between the Ukrainian military and the NATO militaries, basically. Yeah? One of the requirements as well for being part of NATO is, I think, that you can't have any border disputes when you join, but I'm not sure. And considering Crimea, it's
Yeah, but it's those kind of rules that in theory, sure, but it's not like, I mean, I'm pretty sure that we have some countries in the Balkans which are in NATO, and they don't have their borders issues fixed.
Well, you know,
So it's
police, Congress, yeah.
when there's a will, there's a way. Like, let's
Yeah,
be
yeah,
honest. When it comes to Ukraine, it's mostly politics. Like, and I mean geopolitics. Geopolitics. It's about having Russia not wanting Ukraine in NATO because, of course, they
yeah.
don't want it, and we don't give it to them because that would be a bit, making Russia
Yeah, that
mad.
would be it. Russia bad, people. Russia bad. That's the deal here.
Yeah,
So you know,
but
the thing I don't really get about the Russians mindset on Ukraine, and this is something I've been thinking about, over the last few days, is that the amount of troops that they're building up at the border and all the stuff that's going on over there with the shelling, shelling starting. I mean, my Twitter is going absolutely crazy every now and then. I think the main task right now is to create a buffer state or keep Ukraine destabilized, maybe, because it seems to me that despite the amount of the number of troops being moved around over there, there's not really the logistics to start an invasion, as it were, of the whole of Ukraine, because Ukraine is big.
yeah, no, that's not their objective. They don't want to
No.
invade the whole country. It's just the Donbass region, and it's even easier to say we're just helping people that want independence instead of saying we are invading Ukraine.
Yeah.
Not like
Yeah.
it matters that much, but it kind of does because uh, at the end of the day, if it's not like Germans care that much or Italians or French, but it would be easier to make our countries mad a bit more, I guess, if they went. I mean, for sure. Let's start from this. Even if they are in the right or the wrong, that doesn't matter too much. If they were to invade and conquer the whole country, we would notice and we would care, especially Poland
Yeah,
stuff.
of course.
Uh, if they just take a piece of Ukraine, who cares? That's what people think in Europe. So that's and for Putin as well, for Russia, it would be harder to deal with, taking the whole country. Instead, it's a lot easier to manage just a relatively smaller region.
Yeah, true. I mean, I think in the case of what's going on right now, it's mostly it's mostly posturing at the moment, and I'm glad for that, to be honest, because the last thing we want in Europe is another war or uncertainty. Although again, the EU only develops in a crisis,
Yeah.
so we should be able to see at least some progress towards a European army, or at least more of a European army in that case, which would be nice.
But here's the thing. I think we both agree that when it comes to this one issue here, it's not as much about the European army and it's more about foreign policy being united,
Yeah,
right? So even if we
yeah,
didn't have an army, but just the foreign policy, that would be a great step. And as I said, I don't think we would use the army. Like, sure, it's something that you can make your voice bigger because you have an army. So obviously, it has some weight in the process, but it's not about using the army, and it's more about literally having everyone agree and do stuff instead of having
yeah.
no one do
I see.
anything.
By the way, I see that Profile would like to speak. So
Oh,
let's invite Profile to speak. Nice
yeah.
to hear from you again. Hey, hello.
Hello.
Hello,
You've been listening to our rant a little bit. What are your
I
thoughts
have.
about Russia and Ukraine at the moment?
What's your take?
It's kind of a mess, isn't it? So I've got just one or two things to say about that. Firstly, with regards to NATO and border dispute. So that's NATO policy. It's not a condition of the North Atlantic Treaty.
I see. I see.
The North Atlantic Treaty says that the expansion of NATO is open to any European country. but it is a matter of NATO policy. Decisions about accepting new member states into NATO is made by the North Atlantic Council, and the North Atlantic Council acts entirely by unanimity. Ostensibly consensus, but in practice unanimity. So that's where the difficulty comes in, and that's why it's okay. That's why they're able to make some fudges for countries in the Balkans.
For the ones that have they also have, as far as I know, a number of kind of side projects which they include countries in.
Yes,
that is also really interesting. But go on.
But the odds of every single one of them being okay with provoking the Russian bear by accepting Ukraine into NATO against their own policy is, as you mentioned, astronomically low.
Yeah.
The other one is, I think there's, and I'd love to get your thoughts on this. I see some parallels between the state of Ukraine as a sort of unstable buffer state. It's in some ways analogous to Afghanistan, I think. So Afghanistan is a mess, has been for quite a while. One of the reasons that it continues to be a mess is because it serves Pakistan's interests for it to continue to be a mess, because they're afraid that it will, a strong united Afghanistan would be a stronger ally to India. And so it's been impossible to eliminate the Taliban because the Taliban simply crossed the border into Pakistan, and Pakistan turns a blind eye, which has made any attempts to intervene in Afghanistan doomed to, well, if not outright failure, at least a low degree of success. And I wonder if Russia's approach to Ukraine is broadly similar. With the exception of Sevastopol, which they obviously needed as a water port, it serves them to leave it unstable. And even if a European army intervened in Ukraine, would the situation stabilize?
I don't know. Let's first start with Afghanistan, right? Your comparison with Afghanistan. I think it's quite marked. I don't think people also really appreciate that Afghanistan is between four great powers at the moment, which is India on one side, that one you mentioned. There's also Iran, which Afghanistan borders on. They're also very active there, and of course Russia, which is very nearby through Turkmenistan and all the other Russian republics or allied countries, I should say. So having Ukraine is actually, because it's wedged between two powers rather than four. It's a lot more. It's an easier conflict to analyze in that way, I think. The Pakistani infiltration of Afghanistan is also not really one you can compare to, I think, because the Pakistani secret police and their the army have always supported the Taliban and the smaller groups which are in Afghanistan, specifically to destabilize the Iranians as well. And I think that's the big difference, the number of powers that go on between there. What I do see, for example, in Ukraine, is that the invasion of Donbass was ratified afterwards by Russia itself. Russia has it as part of their territory now, and I think that's the key thing. Afghanistan is really kind of on another level of having problems, to say it mildly. I'd like to use an
understatement. Yes.
So that's my thoughts on that, basically. I hope that kind of answers your question.
I think so. Yes. Thank you very much for having me on.
Thank you for the comment on NATO. That was very good.
Yeah, thank you. And it's always nice having some further point of view.
Yeah,
and I do agree with you there.
About Pakistan, by the way,
Yeah, we can go into the next topic.
Yeah, exactly. The next topic would be the Pakistani riots against France, right?
Yes. We both don't know all the details But the short story, long story short, I was saying the opposite, which doesn't make sense. Anyways, so what is happening there? They are mad about Macron and his stance. I think it was 6 months ago or something when it was about Charlie Hebdo, and you know, was it about a teacher that showed them
Yes, as
in a
well.
class? I think, right?
Exactly. That was Macron's reaction to Islamic terrorism has been. I mean, I think a little bit of history is behind this as well. Since the 80s, France has had problems with Islamic terrorism on home turf as well, and these problems, which come from the War of Independence in Algeria, which come from the states in Central Africa that they used to own. As colonists, this all kind of sometimes clashes with this French idea of the republic,
Yeah, and
French
The
Republic.
French laïcité. So the
Yeah,
idea
exactly.
that it has to be secular and in the public space. And when I say public, it means like schools and everything that is owned by the state. It can't have any religious symbols in it, for example. So it's
Exactly. It's much more rigid than for example, we are used to here in the Netherlands and
yeah,
the
it's a
UK.
more aggressive secularism, if that's a way to put it. So it's a lot harder for especially Islamic groups that mostly those from Arab parts, and or their customs don't really go too well with the French system, so they always had issues. And what this one is about, getting back a bit on topic, some months ago there was a teacher that showed to his students the Charlie Hebdo comics that caused the terror attack. That caused outrage on the Islamic side because I think he was killed or something because of it,
Yes, he was killed. He was actually
right?
beheaded.
Yeah, he was killed, right? And that's sparked quite a lot of
Yeah.
outrage from us because that's not something that we like here. And when I say here, I mean in Europe.
Yeah.
And and Macron used quite. I was going to say a harsh word, but it's not like they were harsh. It was just facts. Like
Yeah.
we don't like that stuff here, so fuck off. Pretty much
Go away. Yeah.
that was his message to those
Yeah.
extremists, and some countries didn't like it. So what's happening now in Pakistan is they having riots because going back to that issue, they are not happy about that, and France is telling its citizens and companies to get away from the country because it's not safe. And I think there's something about their diplomats as well. But to be honest, those are just details on like the specifics that don't really matter that much. What the idea, honestly, is just that they don't like France because it's when you think of the West and uh, the dislike for Islamic extremism, the top country is France, right? You don't really think about Italy or the Netherlands. We are not those that make the huge statements that people around the world hear much. Then obviously France has its empire from
Yes
back
and
in the
no.
days.
Don't forget that in not last year but the year before, in 2018, Geert Wilders did the same thing, and in 2016 as well. And there were riots against the Dutch embassy then as well, funnily enough. So
Uh,
there's there's a lot of but the thing about Pakistan, and this is the interesting thing, is that Pakistan is a state with two governments. It has the military government and it has the civilian government. The civilian government is under the control of the military government. It's basically always been like this because of the India-Pakistan rivalry. And what you'd see is that the civilian government will tolerate this kind of behavior, but once the military government cracks down on it, then it's over. Then the full power of the state comes down on the supporters of rioting against the French or the Dutch, or So what we're seeing here is the unwillingness of the military actually to step in and take control of the civilian government and say, look, these guys have to be banned. Otherwise, we'll pull out the military and we'll kill them.
The thing is that it's not that easy for them, I think, because it's not like it's something it's not like a small minority causing the riots. It's not like those people are a small minority and what they think is just them.
Yeah, there's definitely an anti-France movement in the country.
Not just the country, in literally any. I was saying it's not like it's just that country. It's literally any country that has Islamic laws.
Yeah,
hates France because it's the opposite of what they are, and it stands to be against that. So
exactly.
It's when I was saying earlier.
Egypt, though, didn't we? Because in Egypt there was the Muslim Brotherhood who took over after the riots and the deposement of Mubarak, and the military stepped in and just went no, no, we're not having this. Here's Sisi, and that's what you're going to live with. And
yes,
that was basically it, wasn't it? And we could see that for the more radical versions of Islam, the government types is anti-democratic, and that is, I think, also a bit of the problem. So in Pakistan, the thing is that because the military has a hand on this anti-democratic movement in the country by controlling the civilian government and coming down very heavy-handedly on anyone who doesn't do what they want. That Pakistan is basically this powder keg, which is being constantly kept under the pressure by the military. And when they don't do anything, that's when you see the riots happening. That's when you see, the anti-Western flare-ups, as it were. What I also find very interesting is that in Pakistan, things like conspiracy theories are very, very popular. That's also one of those things.
Not just that, though.
Feeds into this mass misinformation about what's going on in the world. Feeds into actions which have an effect on a global scale. So that's where we are at the moment in Pakistan, unfortunately.
I know a few other countries where those conspiracy theories work quite well. For example, Italy.
No, not as well as in Pakistan. Apparently, Pakistan is really bad, when it comes to that, because of mostly because of the remote location and the spread of information there is very thin. So it's very easy to have misinformation travel through the country and stick in areas where you wouldn't have expected it.
Yeah, but
a good example is the American Midwest, maybe, And,
but do you know the power of our Lord and Savior Facebook and the boomers using it? So
yeah, that too.
So it balances
Lord
out.
and Savior Facebook. Yeah, it's funny that Facebook is still the most used platform in the world, especially in Southeast Asia, funnily enough. Whereas here in the
it has
West,
declined.
It's
not like
people are still on Facebook, to be honest.
I mean, we don't use Facebook, but we use Instagram, which is owned by Facebook, and we use WhatsApp. So it's not like we use Facebook with a different name.
Yeah, I've got your number. Still, I've got your number, Dante. So don't worry.
Yeah.
Anyway, next subject, man. I think we're up to the next subject then, because
So
from Pakistan.
talking about
Yeah,
conspiracy theories, when are you going
exactly.
to get your 5G vaccine?
My what?
Your 5G, when you get the COVID
My
vaccine.
5G. Oh yeah, no, we've already have it. Apparently, there's already a few masks up here. So
Yeah,
I'll be
but
looking forward.
yeah, but
I still need
I
that,
want
the phone.
I want 5G into my veins. I want it inside.
Yeah, exactly. Well, the nice thing was, last summer I was sitting at the beach. I don't know if you guys remember. I was sitting at the beach and I was just on Forum Gottevoeten, just chatting along. On 4G, which makes uploading pictures just a little bit slow, but it's okay. But with 5G, man, it'll be wonderful.
Yeah.
I've also heard about some great stuff like people having concerts at large distances because of the amount of throughput. It's very high. I mean that's the kind of thing you really want. So I'm really looking forward to it. Give me.
So COVID. Mm,
COVID. Yeah.
let's see. First,
How's things in Italy, first of all?
meh.
Yeah. I heard
Uh,
that, for example, Rome is still having a very large number of people
it's
who
not. It's
are.
not like terrible. It's not the worst. It's not Germany. So it's like middle of the road, I guess. It's not good. It's
Yeah.
not too bad either.
And your region yourself, because you're north of Rome. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. I'm.
Is that still also still classed as highly infectious, or have the bars started opening? Has stuff started happening already?
In theory, on the 26th, we should start opening up a bit the
Oh,
country.
yeah.
So we have a coloring system. So it's red zone, orange, yellow, and then white. Right now, it's only red and orange, and we're going
Yeah.
to start getting the yellows on the 26th.
Very good.
So we'll see how it goes from there.
Over there, yeah. For me, we're still in the deep red. Very nice. But the nice thing is that this week, all our countries, all of them, are going to get massive amounts of Pfizer vaccines delivered. So, we should be able to at least count on that. I think there's 1.2 billion doses going all across the EU right now. So expect some vaccines in your area soon. You know what I mean?
Yeah, here it's going relatively well. Most
Yeah.
of the vaccines here in my region have been Pfizer. I think like 70% of them,
Okay, very
and
nice. Yeah.
some Moderna as well.
Old people, sorry. Yeah.
First, I'm not sure why, but older people are getting Moderna, and the younger ones are getting Pfizer.
Okay, yeah. I know, for example, that AstraZeneca is now banned in Denmark. It's now no longer being used for older people.
Which is stupid.
I mean, for younger people, for older people, it is because we don't care about them.
So, since you said the name, shall we discuss how it's stupid banning it when it's only based on petty politics of getting some? Because obviously people are going to be scared of it. Like that makes sense. Having the government play at least the Danish one, go, oh yeah, you're right, even if that doesn't make any sense. Instead of doing their job and educating the population, they're just riding the wave. That's not
Yeah,
really.
that's it. They're going with the with popular opinion at the moment, and that's the thing.
Instead, we are not, wait a second, because this is important. Instead, the Chad, known as Mario Draghi, went and got his vaccine, and he made sure that it was AstraZeneca, and everyone knows it.
Yeah.
That's the difference between. I mean,
Yeah.
I know that. First of all, let me enjoy it while it lasts. That we have a great prime minister. So,
doesn't happen very often in Italy, so let's savor it while we can.
I mean,
Actually, I didn't like Conte that much. Conte was also really chat like for a while.
So I mean, to be honest, this might be a bit biased for me. He might be the best politician in the world continent. Like, I'm not sure. Like, I am thinking like seriously about it, and there's some other good ones, but he might be the best one of them all, to be honest. And it's
Well,
I know I'm biased, so I understand that.
exactly. I mean, he's a Euro Chad. He can do what he wants in Italy.
Yeah, but that's the point. Like, he's quite determined. He does stuff, so it's not the Merkel version of do nothing and wait for anything to happen and do nothing still, then do something which is not enough and keep going forever like that. So it's not that way of doing stuff, but it's not the far right, let's ride the waves and be stupid and have no responsibility. It's literally, it's what, if you had, the idea of the ideal politician, the ideal leader that does the stuff that a leader is supposed to do, he's dead right now. So let's hope it goes well.
So when are the next Italian elections? That's next year or the year after, I think.
Elections, never.
Yeah.
We have.
Not that they matter, but you do have them.
I mean, we have a good dictator that we can keep forever. So never.
Yeah, the technocratic government forever. Like Egypt, but the northern version.
Jokes aside,
This is truly the revised Roman Empire.
I think it's
in Egypt right now.
I think it's in 2 or 3 years. I can't remember. So yeah, it's going to take a while before he's gone. I mean, at least the parliament is gone, because he might be gone sooner. Because that's how Italy works.
That's how Italian politics works, exactly. Meanwhile, in the Netherlands, we still do not have a government. We're still waiting, and that's
as it should be. But we have.
This should be Belgian. This will be Belgian levels of waiting, basically. So this will be fun. Oh, I see that Jack Wolfen wants to have a chat.
Yeah. Now we have him.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Hey, Jack.
Hello.
Hello.
I'm a bit nervous because I'm first time speaking like on the stage.
Don't
So
worry.
I'm a bit nervous. Well, I wanted to put my vote on coronavirus theme because here in, I believe Russia could could call it as developing country.
Yes.
So we are having not like some troubles, but with the coronavirus, it's so strange situation now because we have like about 7,000 people a day or 8,900, I believe, today. And the strange thing that coronavirus statistics are falling down, but the people who are not wearing masks are going to higher and higher, even like from the start of the coronavirus pandemic.
Yeah.
It's so controversial thing because you need like by the laws and some restrictions you have to wear the mask, but but I saw like very little percent of the people are wearing masks. Actually, and I wanted to add some words on vaccine on Sputnik that we have. So basically, we can be vaccinated. I think it's from 18 till any year, or something like that. So the point of vaccinating, I think it's to vaccinate about 60% of the population, I believe, here. And in some near time, I believe it will in here will be introduced some coronavirus vaccines for
Mm.
the children, not for
Okay.
the children, for the teens.
Yeah, for the teenagers, basically.
Yeah.
But what are your thoughts on the Sputnik vaccine itself? We know, and we discussed this earlier, me and Jack, yesterday, I believe, about the Sputnik vaccine not being completely trusted either in Russia. Is that correct?
By the yes, people, Sputnik is so controversial thing here.
Mhm.
So the older people are believing it because they are like watching news and so on. Like
Mhm.
they're not using Western services a lot. They are not hear about good, not like the best vaccines again in the world. I don't know which vaccine is still the best and have less side effects,
Mm.
but I will consider that here in Russia, the most of the I think the people under 30 years
Mhm.
uh, won't vaccinate like with the Sputnik. They will
Mm.
prefer Pfizer because they
Yeah.
don't trust Sputnik
Yeah.
because of the reputation of our government and
Mm.
medicine, which is really not good here,
Yeah.
to be honest. It's free, but
But the
well,
level of healthcare is very low when you do go for the free service, isn't that right?
not like very low, but here it's not like very, very low. It's
Mm.
somewhere, not like European ones, I believe,
Mhm.
somewhere between the low and medium, but
Yeah.
in the other
Depending on where you
regions,
live, of course, I can
yeah.
imagine that if you live in the countryside, then the amount
Yeah,
of
yeah, yeah.
hospitals that you
That
can
will
get to.
be freaking
Yeah.
awful service.
I mean,
So
Europe is a tiny place compared to Russia and
yeah,
to Africa. So there's when you're talking about the size of scale, once you're out in Siberia, that's it. So I can believe that also factors into how it's perceived by the population as well. Can you trust the healthcare as much as you can? Um, it's really interesting as well that when we're talking about Sputnik, because the European Medical Association agency here in Europe is now still checking Sputnik. So we'll soon
yeah,
know if the exported Sputnik, at least
yeah. I
we
heard
don't know what you have
the scandal
exactly.
about it. Yeah,
Yeah,
in
we
I
don't know
believe
what you're using
what is the
internally, but
country?
yeah.
Some Slovenia or
Hmm.
some kind of uh, the Russians just put some very, very strange vaccine. I mean,
Yeah, 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 yeah,
one of the component barely blocked, not
yeah,
not working properly.
yeah.
That it's so strange.
Exactly,
I
exactly,
mean,
exactly. It's very.
what they are thinking about when doing that? I mean,
Mm.
the, um,
Well, it's a geopolitical game in that case. I mean, to create, I mean, not the mistake ones, but the big geopolitical game is to make Sputnik accepted by some European governments before the EMA can actually rule on it. I think that is the thing. So whatever they ship, it will be to try to, for example, when they ship to Czechia and or Slovenia, they can then, if it's accepted by the government before the European Medical Association the EMA puts a stamp on it, that will divide the European Union, as it were.
oh, by the way, I wanted to add something
Mm.
because I heard that the Sputnik that was made for expats was
Mm.
actually more made more than the Sputnik that will be needed to vaccinate. I think
Yeah.
population of the Russia they have some misunderstanding. I think they like send to the Argentina more vaccines than they actually.
Well, funnily enough, so does the European Union. You know, the country we've exported the most vaccines to as the European Union is actually Japan, which has gotten 1.3 billion doses. So you know, it's not just Russia, of course, but it's all about the contracts, I think, as well. We often overlook what the contracts, for example, with AstraZeneca and the EU and the AstraZeneca and the UK were vastly different from each other.
Well,
And that also factors into
I think
things like Pfizer.
in case of our like vaccines that we have, they are still the first ones, and I think in the near future they're like maybe in Europe or the States or in Russia will be made more effective vaccines, or in every part of the world will be made some just if more effective vaccines based on the results of the vaccines that
Exactly.
already made. Because
Actually,
the pandemic
today,
is still going on.
yeah, exactly. The pandemic is still going on, but you know we're making huge steps already, and I think that should
I
not be
think
forgotten.
the main problem is that we are making the states divided. So all the companies that making vaccines should like extend their experience to make the more effective one. Because if you don't do it, you will just
Yeah,
you
this will never end.
you will go with how it can say the um the gun game, like who will be the first.
Exactly. You get a vaccine war in that case.
I'm
Very much.
sorry, but this is called capitalism, and this is how it works. So
No, but the saving of the world is like
is more important. Well, the nice
nope.
thing is
You know
that
what's more important than saving the world? Being the one that saved the world.
yeah,
I mean, that's literally how it is. So
the
it's not about having a vaccine that everyone can have, but it's about being the one that can provide that vaccine and have that power.
well, the funny thing is that the European Union is through COVAX also exporting a large amount of vaccines already around the world. So, you know, if everyone chips into COVAX, which is the United Nations initiative, I believe, then you know the disease around the world will be killed that much faster. And the interesting thing as well is because of all the novel techniques being used right now in using the mRNA vaccines as they are being used right now, Pfizer is also starting a trial if they can use the same vaccine against cancer. And so far it seems promising. So you know, there's a lot of technology which is coming out of these private companies, which now through these small inventions, as it were, are gaining the limelight at the right time in our history, as it were. So we'll see. You know, I mean, this is a really interesting discussion, definitely. I see that All Glory to the EU also wants to speak to us. So thanks very much, Jack. We'll speak to you hopefully soon again. Thanks, man.
So my question was with the EMA. You mentioned I don't think it has had approval yet. What do you think the ruling will be on the Sputnik vaccine?
That's a good question. I mean, we don't know. The thing is that
I know that Berlusconi and Salvini love it, so is that enough?
yeah. Oh, if Berlusconi's involved, I'm all for it. You know.
By the way, is it a thing everyone around there? I think it is, right? For some reason, far-right parties like Sputnik. Like that's their thing for some reason, which I don't completely get. And I think it's Hungary that Orban has been using it a lot.
Yeah.
So
true.
most people there have been vaccinated, but with Sputnik. So kind of like, I mean, we don't know yet if it's good or not, right? So, and we are not experts and we have never seen it, so we have just to wait and see what Emma says. So
Yeah. What
what
the
what the Dutch drug experts say, because they they know their drugs.
yeah, exactly.
Is this stream being streamed to Twitch?
Yes.
Yes, it is. Yes, so you're on live, man.
Interesting.
The other thing is that the European Medical Association agency, sorry, I keep on saying association for some reason, has requested Sputnik vaccine data from the Russian government, which has not been forthcoming. So what they're having to do their own tests at the moment, and that's of course taking a long time. Once Russia, if Russia decides to give up that information, which would be very interesting, what will happen? I don't know. I mean, would you trust it after they withheld it for so long?
That's true. I mean, I would say if the EMA approved it and the EMA was happy with it, personally, I would.
Yeah, when the EMA says yes, but you can't go on the word of the Russians alone if they don't want to.
Yeah. Till then, absolutely not.
Yeah, exactly. So I hope that answers your question a bit.
Yeah, it did. And I was wondering also when it comes to the EU, we mentioned the vaccine, but an important other than that is the recovery effort. So the 750 billion euro Next Gen EU fund.
Yes.
There's been, considering the timeline, it's gone quite well, considering the taboos it's broken with the joint gap getting money from the sovereign debt market.
Definitely.
The issue, I think, is the own resources decision in terms of getting it ratified in each one of the member state governments. If you look at Germany specifically, there's been injunctions. My worry is even if it does eventually pass, there's the issue of the ECJ saying that this is okay, the fund.
Yeah.
And yet a German court.
The thing is that because of the ECG the ECJ still having to rule on this stuff, and of course the different legal challenges, for example, for the Germans, I know there's been other legal challenges as well from Hungary.
With their constitutional court and the ECB too, they've also had issues with
the ECB
German courts.
But everyone seems to forget the big elephant in the room, which is the EIB, which is the European Investment Bank, which contains vast amounts of money which are going into projects at the moment.
I think media used the technical term that was bazooka. So
bazooka.
But you're saying the European Investment Bank? I thought it was the ECB was the one who was deploying the bazooka, so to speak.
The bazooka is twofold, but the EIB also has vast amounts of money which they're trying to leverage.
Is the EIB that isn't a part of the EU? I believe it's
it is. It's the European Investment Bank, so we put money into it for investment, and they invested very well. I think they've only had one or two of their investments actually lose money so far. So
so the European Investment Bank is a publicly owned international financial institution whose shareholders are the EU member states. Oh, so it is. Yeah. Oh, under the Treaty of Rome. Okay, I did not realize that. I thought it was similar.
This is the secret bazooka, which the 1-2 punch that the EU is doing at the moment. So what we're seeing as well is that so much money is being released into the member states that by the time that this crisis is over, hopefully by December, everyone's had their vaccine.
Yeah, I thought the issue. I thought it was similar to like ESA, which is
which is even more safe. No. The EIB is the secret bazooka that we have behind our back.
Yes, where the EU, where the ESA, the European Space Agency, or ESA, is a European product, but it's not part of the EU. It's not an EU agency. So does the EIB count as an EU agency, or is it its own independent?
I think it does count as an EU agency, I think.
Oh, so that its budget, so to speak, falls under the 2021-2027 budget.
Let me have a look. No, I think the investment into it is. but they've got so much money right now that it's there's
So why is
no comparing it to what we put in basically.
yeah? So how does that compare to say the recovery fund? I think the issue there is the deployment of it. So with the Constitutional Court filing an injunction,
Exactly.
my worry that I have
Now,
is even if it goes through, it's going to slow it down potentially.
yeah, the idea
and-
is basically that even if the court case in Germany stops the European Union from using the wealth funds as they want them, the EIB is already pumping enough money into the European economies at the moment through projects and stuff. That there's plenty of money to go around. Don't you worry. We've been waiting for this.
Yeah, because I wasn't sure what the role of the EIB versus the ECB was. I know the ECB is propping up the stock markets.
Yeah. Exactly.
To
but
be
in terms of the
clear,
EIB,
because
real account.
my fellow co-host here said something that wasn't completely right. There's not plenty of money to go around, but just to go to Italy.
Yeah, of course.
We're getting all the money, you're getting nothing. This is something very important.
You and Spain,
Yeah.
Greece as well, but they're
Greece,
still a bit sus, So.
And Draghi said we're going to make a good debt, so it's the good kind. So I'm okay with it.
I'm all supportive of that. The 7 member states, certainly they've increased over time, but the issue with that is they haven't had as much productivity GDP increase as the northern member states. So giving them more support, I'm all in for. I'm all in favor of it. So go Italy.
Yeah, Italy is what we all achieve to be, as dysfunctional as possible. Anyway, thanks very much for your questions there.
Of course.
It's very nice to speak to you again. Yeah. Oh, moving on.
Moving on.
Yeah.
So since we were talking about Italy, let's go a bit. Let's talk about the best country in the world.
Dive into Italy.
We have 2 leaders in this country. A great leader, which is Mario Draghi, and we all know him and love him, and want him to be there forever and ever. Then we have another leader, which is a different thing. He's an hero. He's the man who is going to save the continent. He's going to unite Europe because he's going to make his message go from Padania first to northern Italy first to Italy first to then the next one is going to be Europe first. So don't worry, guys. He's going to unite everyone. I'm talking about our great Lord Savior Salvini. So he's having a few issues.
The name is also perfect. I mean, you have to admit, the name is also perfect for it,
Yeah, I know.
Salvini, save us,
That's why I was making this whole shit up. So what happens is, let's see, was it like, I think more than almost 2 years ago by now, I think. He was the minister of, the interior minister, which is the one in Italy which has control over police forces. So the one who's is having the power to do whatever he wants inside the country, basically. When it comes to, it's quite a powerful position. He had a ship which had migrants on board stay offshore and not dock for. Was it like 24 hours? To be honest, I don't remember for how long. Later on, I think it was a lot more than 24 hours. I think it was like a week or something.
Yeah, exactly.
Or 2 weeks.
For quite a while.
Yeah, it was quite a while. And at the end, they disembarked and all. But because that happened, now there's a trial against him. So because he did that, and what they're saying is that he.
Well, the charges actually against Salvini are kidnapping.
Yeah, it's kidnapping,
it's not like we're talking about like you violated curfew or this is kidnapping we're talking about.
Yeah, there's obviously like a slightly different version of kidnapping, but that's pretty much what it is because there's people that you are making stay in a place they don't want to stay. That's pretty much
Exactly.
kidnapping.
Yeah.
So the trial is going to be postponed a few more months, and it's going to take a while before we actually have a final say. What's important to know is that in Italy, when you are a member of parliament, you have immunity,
Yeah.
and whatever you do, you can be prosecuted only when your term is up. But it's possible to lose your immunity if parliament votes
Yeah.
to
Yeah.
revoke your immunity.
Okay.
And
So Parliament has to actually revoke it. It's not just it has to be done by Parliament, not because he's lost because he's been convicted.
yeah, it's not.
He could be convicted and not be voted out from Parliament.
No, the
That's
thing is,
interesting.
no, wait. Let me go a step back. He can't he can't go on trial while he has the immunity, unless he loses the immunity. And to lose that
Okay.
immunity, you have Parliament, which uses a different body. So it's not. There's like a body used by Parliament where people from each party is in there. It's a quite involved process, but at the end of the day, it's literally a political vote. And since he wasn't part of the majority anymore, he lost it, and now he can go on trial, and
Yeah.
it's going to take a long time before we actually get a final say on it, like a really, really long time. In
Yeah.
theory, if he gets convicted of that, he wouldn't be able to run for office
For
anymore.
office.
But when I
Ooh.
say a long time, I think it might take like 5 years, probably,
Oh, but
if
he
not
might be
more.
promoted. He might be promoted into European Commission leader. That would be very nice.
Yeah,
Um,
yeah. I mean, that's
that's the next step, isn't
how
it?
it works
Yeah.
in EU, right?
Don't forget that Salvini has gone from "I hate the EU" to "I love the EU" in
Yeah, which
a year.
some people might
So
not know it, but the man, the
yeah,
Mario Draghi,
yeah,
literally the EU incarnate, he's the Euro man, and Salvini is part of his government, and he votes with him for him. So that's what
he
happens when
works.
you are on the far right, ladies and
Yeah, yeah.
gentlemen. You end up loving the euro.
It's also the case that the European political structure also just sucks you in, because of all the money.
Yeah.
So once you get a sniff of that,
I mean,
of the
to
big
be honest,
no,
in Italy right now, it's really hard to be against the EU because we are the ones that are going to get the most amount of money,
can
like
lose
by
money,
far.
exactly.
I'm not saying that half of the EU funds are going to Italy, but almost
Yeah.
half of them. We are getting a huge amount of them.
Yeah.
So
You, Spain, Greece, Portugal, you are the hardest hit country so far. So
yeah.
you are getting a big smack of money.
So
Um,
you can't really go against the EU right now too much. Like you can do the states' rights and that kind of shit, but you can't really go. Nah, I want to go outside the EU and not get the money. So you don't do that right now. Maybe later on
I don't
you can
believe
wait.
anyone is waiting for the return of the lira either.
Yeah, we are waiting for the return of the euros from your bank account. That's what
Yeah,
we're
yeah,
waiting
yeah,
for
yeah.
right now.
Well, it's so empty right now. You have no idea, right? But that's okay. We have the European Investment Bank, so that's
Yeah.
and we have all the drugs, so that's
We
yeah,
should
we're
have
fine.
them invest in our
Food's a
podcast.
bit worse, I must say. The food's a bit worse, but that's the only difference.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I mean, sure. A bit flat there as well.
yeah, a bit flat, nothing to see.
We like
So
we like our curves on stuff, That's to
oh
be.
man. Now, tell me, would you rather go and live in Greece or in Italy? That's the question now. because in Greece is also very nice.
Yeah, but it's Greece. It's not Italy. So
Yeah,
I mean,
but they also have, I mean, it's not the same, but it's also very good.
I mean,
So,
it's
yeah. Must be a Mediterranean climate in some
yeah,
way.
that helps. So everyone gets a baseline of decent food from that.
Yeah.
Then you have Italy, which is a step above. So
Well, the thing is that I always find is that contact with the Atlantic ruins the food. Yeah,
yeah.
that's if you're close to the Atlantic than to the Med, you got a problem. So
I think it's just being close to our sea is the only way to be sane. To be honest, like
Croatia as well, very nice.
yeah,
So
as soon as you so this is what a person I know said once, which I agree with. He said outside of Rome there's only so he said in Italian, so only barbarie, which is barbarous things, so only barbarians, which is it was true 2,000 years ago, and it still is. It's weird, but it's still true. The further you go from Rome, the worse it gets.
Well, that's actually not actually that far fetched, because there's a town to the north of me, which if you go there, it's already worse.
Yeah, I know.
So that's how it works.
I mean,
So,
have you ever seen Germany?
people, that's the lesson we have to
I
take.
mean, just look at Germany. You have Bavaria, right? Down.
Yeah.
Then the further you go north, which is further from Rome, the poorer they are. It's literally how it works. It's a law of nature. I'm sorry if that's how it is, but that's how it is.
That's how it works, exactly. Yeah. But the thing is, the difference between you and Greece as well, between Italy and Greece, is that in Greece you're next to Turkey.
Yeah, which is bad.
That's also a minus point right there. So.
Yeah. Meanwhile, here we're close to nothing. We're almost an island, so which gives us lots of sea, and beaches. It's great. I mean, yeah.
That's just how it works.
Usually, in the past, it used to be we had a great country and awful politicians who couldn't lead it. But now we have a great country and Mario Draghi. So while it lasts, which, by the way, I know it's I've been going on about it a bit too much, but it's really important to have him right now. Like really, really important, because if we had him before this crisis, he would have been a good politician, sure, but he might have been able to do some stuff, but it would have been a relatively small impact. While right now, the amount of money and the amount of changes we are going to have to do because of the virus and the funds we are going to get,
it's exactly on time, is what you're saying.
Yeah, but it's literally
right place at the right time.
I think this might be I might be a bit, maybe not that much, but it might literally be the last chance for this country before it becomes Argentina and stuff, because Italy has been in a slow, relatively slow downward spiral, right? So it has been stagnating and going down.
I don't know. I mean, I always think the best way to look at it is not in the amount of GDP that you gain every year, but if that GDP gain is constant, and a constant of 1.3% on a huge country like Italy is not a bad thing, actually.
But that's why I'm saying that it's slow. It's not about having it's not like it's a minus in the GDP. That's not what Italy has. It's not enough and which causes stagnation, and that stagnation causes all the other issues to compound until it breaks down. So, for example, just for let's say the debt, if you don't grow enough, that's going to just grow and grow and grow until you have to pay too much in interests, and that's going to get you it's a downward spiral, right? And that's not and the more you have debts and paying interest on them, the harder it is to get newer debts. So the harder it gets to fix the things that you need to fix to not have the growth that you need. For example, if you need infrastructure and they cost a lot, and you can't afford it, because when it comes to infrastructure, it's always a bit of a gamble as well, right? You don't know if it's going to work out or not, always. And it's a lot harder, and that's why I said it's a slow, it's not like a fast downward spiral, but it's going to be what it might happen to Italy. It's not like in 1 year or 5 years it's going to become poor or anything like that, but it's not going to get any richer or better, which in turn is going to make it be worse compared to the others, and it's going to be worse for Italians, which were used to be better. Like the quality of the life is going to be worse because we're not getting better.
Exactly.
But
now,
with this amount of money, and it's not just about the actual money coming from the EU. Obviously, that's a great thing, but it's not just that. It's about being able to do as much debt as you want, pretty much.
Yeah.
So all bets are off. There's no rule anymore, pretty much. And
the thing is, that unlike, for example, what happened to Greece, is that Italy does have a reasonably up-to-date banking system which can handle that now. And what we're seeing is, for example, that the ECB is just, like we said, it's there's the ECB and the EIB pointing their guns at Italy, going, spend as much as you want.
Yeah, exactly. And
that is basically what is going to save the country, I think.
I mean, it might do
at least getting worse. I'm not saying it'll fix everything, but it'll definitely be the shot in the arm that the Italian economy needs at the moment.
What I think is it's what it's going to do is either make it go really up or really down a lot. Because if it goes, for example, if we had, to be honest, it's a complex country, and you never have one person being able to do too much damage, to be honest.
Yeah.
But if you had a really terrible politicians in place, and if it really was awful, you could really fuck it all up. Because if you are going to make all that debt, and what you do with that debt is stupid stuff which are not going to make it grow, what you do that is pretty much kill the country. And so having Mario Draghi, it's literally the only man that I can think of that can.
That amount of brain power to get this done.
Because it's not easy, It's not like it's an easy task. There's so much stuff that you can do, and
the infrastructure investments that Mario Draghi is making right now in Italy are vast. And the thing about infrastructure is that you are paying your own population and therefore creating money, creating growth from your own population.
Unless you are Montenegro. This is not a topic we have right now, but we can talk about it for a while, because I think it's interesting to talk. So just giving you guys a bit of a summary of what happened and what's going on. Montenegro wanted to make an infrastructure project, so making an highway and connecting to Serbia, so they would be connected to the network of highways on the Balkans, which connects to everything else in Europe, pretty much. And the issue is they have lots of mountains, and I think it was literally the most expensive road in the whole world for like per kilometer. I think it was literally the most expensive in the whole world for Montenegro. The total amount was around 800 millions, and they didn't have the money to do that. What they did was go to China, get money from China, and have the best part of it, which, to be honest, like I understand they're stupid, and it was a stupid government doing the usual populist shit that kind of government will do. Like I understand that. It's not like I don't understand they're stupid. So I can even understand going to China to get the money, which is stupid in itself. But they weren't happy enough with that, so they doubled down. The company that had to do the job was a Chinese company. The Chinese company gets the materials from China, and it doesn't pay any tax on them. And the workforce is brought by China, so it's Chinese workers.
Chinese labor doing the work.
Chinese labor, which doesn't pay any taxes, and you are literally the only thing when people say about infrastructure, big projects, is at least you make jobs. Not even that. They made jobs for Chinese people, so great job on the there. And they had a grace period of 4 years, 5 years, something like that, and it's almost up, and they can't pay it back.
And they can't pay, exactly. They cannot pay.
And you know that. The best part is that the company is Chinese. That has to do the work, right? The company hasn't finished the work yet, which wow, a Chinese company which is owned by China, literally by China. Hasn't finished it yet, so you are not even making any money from it. So you have to do the thing that you didn't want to do if you didn't have enough money. Wow, that's wow. I wouldn't. That's literally the surprise Pikachu meme.
How to ruin your country in 3 easy steps?
Basically. It's so fucking stupid, and the best part is if they don't manage to pay back, they lose literally a part of their country, like literally territories. It becomes a part of Montenegro becomes China. We would literally have China in our doorsteps. So this is where it becomes even better. They ask to the EU for help because that's what you do when you fuck up. The EU said no, because that's how stupid we are, because obviously European countries have to think about the short-term cost instead of thinking about literally having China in our own sea, because that's smarter, And
this is great. This is great news, I mean, now at least I can order off Alibaba. It shouldn't take so long.
Yeah,
Giant storehouse for Alibaba. That'll be it.
It will be literally like a giant warehouse with Chinese stuff, and they send it all over around Europe.
So Montenegro also wants to join the EU, which is hilarious, because if they do, they are on the cusp of joining the EU as far as
which. I understand the point of view of saying you fucked up, you wanted to be a sovereign country, you wanted your independence and do stuff because you are a big boy country, and instead of being part of a union, so now suck it up. Like I understand that.
You understand that mentality.
I really do. And I understand the mentality of telling the others that's what happens if you go with China instead of doing what we say. So I understand those.
But having China on your doorstep is a different story, That's
exactly.
I'm wondering which parts of Montenegro will fall to China
as of now, we don't know the details because they are
they're secret.
They're secret. By the way, the best part I forgot, but obviously when it comes to any litigation, it's going to be decided by a Chinese court because obviously, I mean,
Yeah.
this is literally how to. And you know what? It's not like they were the first ones. I would understand if they were the first ones, but China already had done that to other countries, so they already knew that that was going to happen, and they still did that. Which, yeah.
Yeah, and now we're in the shit, you know,
How
with
can
China.
to be honest, I don't really understand how you can be so fucking stupid.
To me, it's just, you know, it's just short-sightedness, you know.
Is it though?
You
Because
know?
it's not about. It's not even. I don't know. It's not even about having like a bet and losing it, right? Because I would understand that. Like you say, I get this money from someone that is bad, but I use them to, I put everything on red, on blackjack, and if I win, I can give it back and I have money to do stuff. Like I can at least understand that, you know?
Yeah.
But here is literally, you get money, but that money is by having a Chinese company come and work for you, which is a Chinese company which has every interest in not doing the work. And it's not even like a Chinese company, as in saying like an Italian company, but Italy has no power over it or something. It's literally China, the country, giving you money, and China, the country, sending you the people to work there and do the job. It's not even. There is not even like they're not even trying
no
to
advantage
pretend,
to it.
you know.
Exactly. There's no end to it. There's no advantage to it. You know, it's just a move by politicians to be able to, you know, graft enough money off the project to do what they want, basically.
I mean, you know what? This is like telling you, hey, come here and fix my house. I'm going to pay you back the 50 euros. And if I'm not able to, you can have my house, and it's up to you to do whatever you want. You can work however you want, and you will go there. You don't do shit, because why would you? And you get the house for free. Wow!
Yeah, exactly. It's
Great
done.
plan.
Yeah.
The thing is, it's not like it's a master plan, you know. Like I would understand if it's like a master plan. Like there's some ingenious work. Like China is being really strategic, and you couldn't even understand. It's like 3D chess. It's literally, hey, I'm coming to steal your country. You good? Yeah, man, take it. I mean, that's pretty much what happened.
Yeah, I mean, the only way I could see for Montenegro, if the EU does not step in any way and provide funds for it, or allow it to join on the sly, as it were, you know. Oh yeah, your membership is now approved because you've already done all the stuff, you know. And Bulgaria suddenly says okay, the only thing I could see them doing is defaulting, you know, and just saying no to China. What are you going to do? Invade us? You know. The only thing that they can do is then stop the Chinese from, you know, having property in their country in that way.
I mean, since they have been able to get their way in other countries, I don't think they. I mean, the thing is, it's not that easy to just not do it.
Yeah.
And they probably will have to. So, honestly, what they need is the EU to pay their debt, and then their debt is to the EU instead to China.
Yeah. Buy their debt, as it were, exactly.
Yeah,
You know,
but
that would be the best solution.
But we don't do it because, first of all, obviously they're not part of the EU, so I understand that. But it's. I mean, everyone in the EU knows that the Balkans are our weak point, right? It's literally where every major force attacks us. It's where Russia tries to have influence in Serbia. It's China trying to do that shit. Like it's literally it's our backyard, but it's not in the EU. So
I'd say more it's the Black Sea region as well. You know, it's Georgia.
Yeah, that's too.
You know, it's Ukraine, it's the Balkans. You know.
Yeah. It's not obviously just the Balkans, but that's all those parts. It's something that we can't just say it's not part of the EU. We have to be more proactive about it.
Yeah.
And I don't know. We should. We can't just pretend that, for example, I don't know, Montenegro and Togo in Africa are the same thing because they're third countries, third parties. They're not part of the EU. You know, it's a bit different. So we should not pretend that they are not.
Yeah, we just yeah, exactly. It's funny though, you know, that you brought that up because you know, if you look at and traditionally the people with the worst reputation are the Greeks, you know, but we might have a contender now, you know, Montenegro.
Yeah.
Thanks, guys.
So yeah, that's the story of how you can be the most
Yeah.
stupid country.
Country in the Western Hemisphere. Great. Hey, I think we've covered most of the things now, to be honest.
No, I think we forgot something. Yeah, we forgot the Germans. We forgot the
Yeah, but
Germans.
the Germans are so forgettable, you know.
Yeah.
We can do them. I think that we should leave that because that's a whole topic onto itself, and I'd like to be awake for that one.
Yeah, it makes sense, and it's not like the Germans care. What are they going to do? Nothing.
Next time we can talk about Turkey and Greece, the Russians versus Navalny, and the German elections. I think that would be very nice topics to cover next time.
And whatever happens in this week, and for example, World War III and everything else, because
the resurrection of Rome, World War III, and the triumph of the Vatican.
Yeah, those are our next topics. There's going to be the picture of me next to the Pope telling me that I'm the new Holy Roman Emperor. It's going to be great. So today's...
I will be standing for Michel because Michel should be replaced by a homeless person. We've already determined that.
Yes, that's already been decided. So let's see, people. Next week we're going to be here again. It's going to get better and better each time. Hopefully, we're still new to this. So
you are alpha. You are alpha tribe. You know, our alpha testers. So
because you're all alpha. That's that's the reason.
That's how it works. Exactly.
You're all chats here. Don't worry.
Yeah.
For the people watching on Twitch, we are going to be back here, and we are on Discord as well. That's where we record stuff. And if this is going to be on YouTube and Spotify, come on our Discord server and have some fun with us. Don't worry, they're not all like me and my co-host here. There's normal people as well, so don't worry too much.
And don't forget, you know, you're the smart one here, and I'm the dim one. So you know, I'll be relying on you a lot, Dante. And thanks very much for tonight. It was definitely a pleasure. Yeah.
Yeah, for me too. And don't forget the actual smart one is not here tonight, but might be.
Might be Kiki.
Yeah, he might be here with us sometime. So look forward to that.
Also, before we go, I do want to see if we can get a poll to see if we can put Kiki's "Let It Go" sing along as the intro song for our podcast.
That would be quite the thing.
I think we should do it anyway. Speak to you all next week.
Yeah. Bye.
Bye.